Adjustment.
You're on.
Thank you guys for coming. This is another video we're going to be doing. My name is Jason Walters. I've actually got a very special guest for this video. If anybody remembers the video I did with Lee Tibits, and we were talking about his grandson at one point, and the car that you didn't see on screen that was behind the camera, well, this is it. You actually get to see it, and my special guest this week, I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Sheppard. I drive the 04 Mini Sprint. We run it locally with the WIMS Mini Sprints, Wisconsin, Illinois Mini Sprints.
Okay, thank you, Morgan. Here's a quick question. Background. What have you done for racing in the past?
Background is I'm going to be my fourth season in my very own car this year. Changed the paint scheme obviously to brighter orange if everybody wanted to know. Ran 1 year with the Branhams in the 74 car and the 70 car. And then previous to that I ran go-karts over at Sugar River Raceway.
What type of class did you run over there?
I ran a box stock clone.
And how many horsepower?
It is a 5.5 horsepower little engine.
Okay. Obviously you did that for a couple of years.
Correct.
About how many?
3 years.
Okay, well, hey, it's experience.
Yes, it is. Seat time.
Can never have enough.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, speaking of racing, where do you run?
We run locally mainly at Wilmot Raceway, Wisconsin, but it is a traveling circuit, so we do hit a couple more tracks, Wisconsin and Illinois.
What's a couple of the other tracks that you might be at?
This year we're going up to 141. We have Plymouth, and we do have LaSalle, Illinois.
Okay. We were also talking before we started that you were going to run another completely different class.
Correct.
With this. Which group were you going to be running with?
I'm going to be running with the Badger Midgets this year, and maybe down with the Illinois Midgets. Take the wing off. I set it up this year so I can run as a midget. I can remove the top wing and the nose wing and do a couple adjustments on the rear end and height, and we're ready to go.
Okay, well, speaking of, let's go through a walkthrough so that way if anybody's interested in running one of these, they at least got an idea of what's involved in the class, what type of cost we're looking at, and the biggest issue is obviously this looks like a sprint car. What is the difference between the 410 sprint cars that you see with the big screaming V8s and one of these?
The major difference is their size. Their size is a lot smaller. They're about a quarter the size of a sprint car. And we also run only 1,000cc motorcycle engine. I currently am running an 08 Yamaha R1, but a lot of the famous things is for Suzuki's. Is what everybody else seems to be running is the GSXRs.
Okay. Obviously, you guys do run a What's the difference? Also in the transmission style.
Sprint cars are direct drive. We are not direct drive. We still have the 6-speed transmission out of the bike, which is, if you don't know motorcycles, they are all one piece. The motor and transmission is one. So we have access to all 6 gears. It's chain driven. And we can use every gear, but we only choose to use second gear.
Okay. Obviously, that's a big difference.
Correct.
Obviously, you guys don't need a push truck to get started like the sprint car guys.
No, we do
or
have
even the wingless.
Correct. Okay.
So obviously, that's a major advantage for you guys.
Yeah.
To an extent.
We can beat them off the line.
Probably not nearly as much for speed, but hey.
Correct.
But at least this way people know the difference.
Correct.
Okay, well, getting into it, obviously we have a very interesting setup. What are we looking at for cost for one of these? For say, if somebody wants to get involved, what are we looking at for just a basic roller without a motor?
Yeah, basic roller, you're looking from $2,000 and up. You can buy complete cars that somebody's moving out of or getting up to for 4, 6, 8, 10 grand. You can get it into a used car that's completely built. Continue.
Now, if we wanted to say somebody wanted to build their own car, that's obviously we're going to concentrate on different pieces of it and explain the class so people are aware of what's involved in it. Speaking of, how much if somebody wants to buy a chassis? What are we looking at?
Well, used chassis you can find from anywhere from $500 to $4,000 and up.
Okay.
Motor, you're looking at used. Usually a lot of people decide to go off of eBay. You're looking from $1,300 to up to however much you want to spend in rebuilding. Drivetrain rear end, you're looking at, $400 for just an axle. Front axle is almost the same cost.
Okay. Obviously, you guys use a chain. How do you guys figure out your gear ratio? Obviously, you can do different sprockets.
Correct. A lot of it is trial and error.
Okay.
You don't know. Everybody else is using something different. It's all on drivability. I have mine set up where it hugs the bottom. That's where I like to race. I like to run the bottom, so the car is set to pull off the corner. Where other guys may be set up to run the high side, where they can wind it out and continue on.
Well, here, just so people are at least aware of it, when we're talking about the high side or low side, what are we talking about roughly in a track position? So that at least people get an idea, even if they don't race, they can at least get an idea of what, if they're watching a video or something.
The low side of the track is the closest to the infield as you can possibly go without going into the infield. And we're going to run as close to that and barely move out when we're going down the straightaways, and then tuck back down to the bottom as far as we can go. The guy that's running the high side is going to have his motor wound up as high as he can go, and he's going to run as high up on the track to get as much momentum and speed and try and carry that through the corner to carry him down the straightaway. Is that what you were asking?
Yes.
Okay.
That at least so people have an idea.
So that we get where we're going.
Because if nothing else, it does make for some dramatic racing when
Yes,
you're
it
seeing
does.
one guy go low and one go high. So that way, at least it explains.
Correct.
Okay. Well, another thing that we're going into, obviously we explained motors and transmissions. Obviously, we can see you guys run an exhaust system instead of the open headers that the sprint cars do.
Correct. We still run a header for the bike motors. They're specialty, and then we do put a special racing muffler on them. You're roughly in the ballpark of $500 to buy a header setup.
Okay. Obviously, the next thing that's obvious is tires. What type of tires do you guys run in size?
Currently, right now, I'm running Hoosier. We have to run an SP2 Hoosier in the back. Relatively, all 4 tires are soft tires. This is the only tire that we legally have to run as a Hoosier. The rest can be American Racer or Hoosiers.
Okay. What size-wise? 14-inch, 13-inch?
They're all 13-inch rims, all
Okay.
the way around the car. This is an 82-inch, and on the other side I have a 74-inch, and the fronts are 68s.
Okay. Obviously, you guys have the different tire size on one side for cornering.
Correct.
Uh,
Staggered.
Yeah, staggered as some people call it.
Correct.
So that way it'll help the car to turn in the corner.
Yes, when it drives into the corner, it already wants to make the corner continue.
Okay, well, going on to the next thing that we see, bodywork and wings. What are we looking at for cost-wise?
Cost-wise, it's hard for mini sprints because there's not a lot of market out there. This is an HRP top wing. They're going for right around $500. Their nose wings are going for right around it's $70 to $80. The bodies, nose is $260, and this is going for about $175 for the door.
Okay. Obviously, there's a few extra panels too.
Correct. Some of that is I built myself to enclose the motor and everything else for more
Okay.
side bite.
Obviously, some people have it, some don't, but at least it gives an idea of what people can do.
Right.
Obviously, another thing is what type of safety gear do you guys run?
I run a full containment seat, and I always believed in that, especially when you got something that is open wheel like that. You always should. Seats are roughly anywhere from $400 and up. Run a full neck restraint, and the neck restraint is $500 and up. And run a 3-piece fire suit, and wear the Nomex underwear, and roughly we wear, you get a good decent helmet, you're somewhere from 300 to up.
Obviously, we already covered the neck brace. And this, obviously you guys run a quick change steering wheel, so that way you can get in and out.
Correct.
About how much is that?
Roughly you're looking from 100 to 200 bucks for the
Okay.
connector.
Obviously, brake-wise, what do you guys run?
A lot of mini sprints only run a right rear brake. There's quite a few of them that run a left front brake. So right now I switched this car over this year to have a left front brake and a right rear brake.
Okay.
It'll help the car turn into the corner now a little bit better is what everybody says. Well, I'm planning to test this theory.
Another big thing that everybody does talk about in racing in different classes, no matter what the sport, is shocks.
Oh yes. Shocks you can range from anywhere from $100 to, you're looking at almost $1,000 a shock. Currently I'm just running the economics that I got set up of anywhere from $100 to $300 per shock.
Okay. Well, that definitely is interesting. Anything else that you want to tell our viewers for questions or anything that you want to make a comment on?
This class is the most economic class I can ever think of. If you don't touch tires and you're not losing motors, you're really not burning anything up. You're not burning tires up. You maybe use one set of rear tires in a season. The front tires last about 2 years in a season. If you take good care of the motor lasts about 3. So roughly this is the most economic sport that I can think of, and the people are really friendly and easy to get along with. Is there any questions that you would like to ask on a viewer behalf?
If anybody's got questions or anything else, and if you guys want to know more information, either leave it in the comments or get a hold of me directly. And if you've got a question for Morgan or something, leave a comment. And if I can, I'll try to get your comments passed to him. Morgan, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
I very much appreciate your time.
Yes.
And thank you guys very much, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Thank you.